Mr. Bo.
Yes, sir.
Welcome.
Good morning, members of the Fourth Estate. Thank you for coming for the press briefing by the UDA Party. We appreciate your presence. And I will start to read. Party grassroots elections and other scheduled political activities. Yesterday, Wednesday, January 20th, 2026, the United Democratic a National Steering Committee meeting presided over by the party leader, President William Ruto. The National Steering Committee deliberated on reports from the National Elections Board and the Electoral and Nomination Dispute Resolution Committee concerning the recently concluded grassroots elections. These elections were conducted across 42 counties in phase 1, in phase 2 that happened in June 2025, and the recent one being phase 3 done in January 2026. Following the rulings of the Electoral and Nominations Dispute Resolution Committee and the decision of the National Executive Committee, the party shall conduct repeat elections in select polling centers across the 42 counties on the 7th of March 2026 for phase 3 elections and on the 28th of March 2026 for phase 2 elections. Registration for aspirants seeking various positions for the polling center congress commences today on the party website. There's a portal where the aspirants can register, and we encourage them to start registration today. As a result of the foregoing, the party will hold a special National Governing Council meeting on Monday, the 26th of January 2026 at 8 a.m. And the National Governing Council brings together all UDA elected leaders and nominated also who are elected specially. And this includes the governors, deputy governors, senators, members of the National Assembly, women representatives, representatives of the East Africa Legislative Assembly, and our members of the county assemblies. The meeting will be chaired by the party leader, President William Ruto, at State House, Nairobi. That will be on Monday, the 26th at 8 a.m. The National Governing Council shall receive a scorecard on the progress of the implementation of the government manifesto, which is the plan, the bottom-up economic transformation agenda. Number 2, they will receive a report from the National Elections Board on the party grassroots elections. 3, they will ratify the National Executive Committee resolution mandating the party leader to commence structured negotiations with the ODM party ahead of the general elections. There is also going to be an aspirants forum. In preparation for the 2027 general elections, the National Steering Committee has resolved to establish UDA Aspirants Forum. This is in response to the high demand for aspirants seeking to vie for various elective positions. To this end, the party shall open a portal for registration of aspirants today. The inaugural Aspirants Forum meeting shall be held on the 4th of February at 8 a.m. at State House, Nairobi. A corresponding notice shall be issued later. So we are encouraging all aspirants intending to vie for various elective positions in 2027 general elections to register from today in the UDA portal. The Aspirants Forum, I repeat, will be on the 4th of February 2026, 8 a.m. at State House, Nairobi. Thank you. Kiswahili.
Nimeambiwa nitumie msamiati. Sisi yetu ni kwa mukhtasari ni kuweza kutoa yale majadiliano ama uamuzi wa National Steering Committee ambayo ndio katika kiungo kikubwa katika uamuzi wa chama ambao jana ulisimamiwa na kinara wa chama chetu ambaye ni Rais wa Jamhuri ya Kenya William Samoei Ruto. Tulijadili masala ya uchaguzi ule wa chama na tukapata ripoti kuhusu matokeo ama zile shutuma na malalamishi katika yale maeneo ambayo yalikuwa na uchaguzi katika maeneo 20 ya juzi tarehe 10 na yale awali hapo iliyokuwa June 2025. Tukaamua katika polling centers kadhaa ndani ya taifa la Kenya, tutaweza katika hizo county 42 tutarudia huo uchaguzi ili tuwapatie watu fursa ya pili kurekebisha pale kulipokuwa kumekosekana na kuweza kujadili yale malalamishi kupitia uamuzi wa National Elections Dispute and Nominations Dispute Resolution Committee. Pia tukasema kwa minajili ya uchaguzi huo tunaanza rasmi usajili wa wale ambao wanataka tena kutafuta viti katika hayo maeneo kadhaa ambayo yalikuwa yalijadiliwa katika uamuzi wa Elections and Nominations Dispute Resolution Committee. La pili ambalo ni la muhimu, tuliamua kwamba tutakuwa na kongamano la National Governing Council ambacho ni kiungo kinachojumlisha viongozi wote waliochaguliwa na pia waliochaguliwa kwa namna ile maalum, wakiwemo magavana, manaibu wao, maseneta, wawakilishi kutoka bunge la kitaifa, women rep, wawakilishi wa kina mama, watu kama sisi ambao ni wawakilishi kutoka bunge la Yala na wengine na watu kutoka zile bunge za kata ndogo ndani ya taifa la Kenya, ambao utakuwa wiki ijayo tarehe 26 Jumatatu saa 2 kamili katika ikulu ya Nairobi, ukiwa utakuwa chaired na party leader His Excellency William Ruto. Hapo tutaangalia ama tutajadili ile hatua ambazo zimepigwa katika kuhakikisha tumetekeleza manifesto ya chama chetu ambayo kwa maarufu tunaita the plan ama the bottom up economic transformation agenda. Vile vile tutapata kwa mara ya pili kwa manufaa ya viongozi wote zile party grassroots elections report ambayo itajadiliwa pia kuangaliwa vipi tutaweza kusonga mbele na masala ya uchaguzi na kuimarisha chama katika pembe zote za taifa la Kenya. La tatu pia ambalo ni la muhimu, tutaidhinisha yale maazimio ya Baraza Kuu la National Executive Committee ya UDA ambayo imemuidhinisha mkuu wa chama ama kiongozi wa chama His Excellency William Ruto kuanza mawasiliano ama mjadala maalum kwa namna ambazo na chama cha ODM ambapo utaweza kuhakikisha tumejiandaa vilivyo katika uchaguzi unaokuja wa 2027. La mwisho, kuna wale ambao watawania viti mbalimbali katika maandalizi yetu ya mwaka ujao ya August 2027, na kumekuwa na Wakenya wengi wawaniaji wengi wa viti tofauti katika taifa la Kenya ambao wamewasiliana na chama, wamewasiliana na viongozi wa chama, na tumesema kwa ajili ya kuhakikisha tumeanza kuleta vuguvugu la hawa wawaniaji wa hivi viti tofauti, tutaanzisha platform ama forum ambayo tutaita UDA Aspirants Forum, ambapo itawajumlisha wote wale ambao wanawania viti tofauti kutoka ugavana hadi members of the county assembly, ambao pia utakuwa na kikao chao kwa vile tunajua katika hao ndio watakuwa viongozi watakaoibuka katika uchaguzi unaokuja. Tutakuwa na kikao na rais ambaye ni mkuu wa chama tarehe 4 Februari mwezi ujao, vile katika ikulu kuanzia saa 2. Kwa hivyo tunawahimiza wote, tunawahamasisha wote ambao wako na azma kutetea viti tofauti kupitia chama ambacho ndio maarufu kabisa ndani ya Kenya na kimejipanga zaidi kupitia UDA, waweze kwenda katika hiyo mtandao wetu. Kutakuwa na portal hapo ya usajili ili waweze kujiandikisha kama wagombea kupitia chama cha UDA mwaka wa 27 ama next year. Imani Shungwa.
Thank you, Manu. Just to add first that we are very happy that in spite of the many disputes that were presented before the Disputes Tribunal, the Tribunal and the National Elections Board were very magnanimous to make sure that we are accommodative of all interest groups and stakeholders in the party. And that is why NEC and the National Steering Management Committee, under the able leadership of the President, we resolved yesterday that it is only fair that we accord all those who have expressed interest to run for elected positions at the grassroots level an opportunity to do that through the repeat elections in the select polling stations that had disputes. Two, is to state that our party being a very accommodative and all-inclusive party, one where we do not want to leave anyone behind. We also resolved that we need to give all our members in the National Governing Council, that is all our elected leaders, a midterm report on the implementation of our manifesto. You will remember that we have stated before that under the able leadership of President Ruto and in our implementation of the plan, which was our manifesto, we did indicate that we would implement this plan comma to full stop, paragraph by paragraph, and page to page. And those who have been very keen will see that all the government programs that we are rolling out, whether it is rollout of the infrastructure fund, all these are things that were in our manifesto. And therefore, we want to update our leaders, right from the grassroots in terms of our MCAs, all the way to governors on where we are on the implementation of this plan. Two, as I said, being an inclusive party, we want to make sure that all our leaders and all our party organs are involved in the process that we did mandate the party leader under the NEC organ, mandated him to engage with ODM in structured negotiations to make sure that as we go to the 2027 elections, we have a party, one that has proper governance structures and whose mandate comes from the people, right from the grassroots. And two, that as we strongly believe, this party, the Kenya Kwanza Coalition, is a party that is forming government after next year's elections. But we have invited our colleagues in ODM under the broad-based government. We have had a very good working arrangement with them. We have listened to them as they engaged in their National Steering Committee meeting and the resolutions that they have passed as a party. And we welcome and accommodate what they have said. And that is why we mandated the party leader to constructively engage with them. And we want to take that decision now from NEC to the next party organ, which is the NGC. And we will be taking that to the NGC on Monday next week under the chairmanship of the President, State House on Monday. As I said, we don't want to leave anyone behind. Many of the people who have lodged complaints regarding our grassroots elections are thousands. In fact, I must commend the National Elections Board and the Disputes Resolution Tribunal for the many hours that they have put in to try and resolve many of these disputes. And many of those disputes were lodged by leaders who aspire to run for either MCA, governor, members of parliament seats, and including two who have also expressed interest to run on UDA for the position of president. And therefore, all those people, we do not want anybody to feel that they are being left behind, and that is why we resolved that as early as now, we want to register all of them so that those who have interest in running for positions on UDA and Kenya Kwanza can register, and we will engage with them again under the leadership of the party leader the other Monday, as has been mentioned in this communique. Na asanteni sana.
So to provide clarity on what exactly the UDA party is trying to achieve, is that it is our desire to have an elected party official at each of the 27,277 polling centers across the country. We know it's a big desire, but we are bullish about it. Remember, the UDA party is a record-setting political party. We are the only political party post the new constitution that has at least an elected official in 41 out of 47 counties. We want to grow that number. It is our desire that in 2027, we shall have an elected official, either an MCA, member of parliament, governor, in each of our 47 county governments. And the only way that you can achieve that is by having party officials at the grassroots. And that's why we are doing this exercise quite meticulously. It is a big ask for the National Election Board and the various members that are involved in this exercise. But we believe that if you want to offer a good product to the Republic, then you have to do it right. And this is the only way. We appreciate that up to this far, members of our party have participated quite actively. There have been all the complaints that have been raised, and we believe we are getting it better. We did phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. Now we are going for phase 4 on the 7th of March and phase 5 on the 28th of March. We believe in each of those sessions we shall be getting better at it, so that at the end of it, on the 28th of March in the evening, UDA as a party will have polling center officials in all the 27,277 polling centers across the country. No other party has ever done that, but we believe we can do it because that's who we are. Last thing that I want to say is that we appreciate the partnership that we have set out so far, going to 2 years now, with our partners, the ODM party and the affiliates parties of the Kenya Kwanza coalition. But we must prepare for the next phase of elections. And this is the time, because you know that in a little bit of slightly over a year, we shall be having party primaries, then subsequently the general elections in August of next year. And that's why we are setting this Aspirants Forum, so that anybody who wants to run for any position that is available within using the UDA political party has an opportunity to be had. And that is a forum that is being provided on the 4th of February 2026 at State House, Nairobi. So thank you very much. We wish you well.
So we'll take a very few questions if there are any. Yeah.
My question is just a clarification. As you go into negotiations over here, are we still having discussions based on the 10-point agenda, or we are having new terms of engagement?
That's one. Number two, that will be fielded by Kimani and Aaron. Yeah.
Chris Owino from Movie TV. Still on the matter of that UDA election pact. Will this mean that the other Kenya Kwanza coalition of affiliate parties will sign a new or fresh agreement with UDA, or they'll be left behind?
That will be fielded by the chair. And the last one? That's it. Okay.
So just to respond is that, you know, negotiations are negotiations. You go with what you feel is rightfully yours, and the other parties also will come. The 10-point agenda has given us a basis for working with the ODM. We have achieved some of the proposals that were made therein. In fact, if I'm not wrong, this afternoon, the committee on the implementation of the 10-point agenda has actually a meeting with the party leader of the UDA party and the leader of the Kenya Kwanza coalition to bring up to speed on what has been achieved so far and what is still pending. So that has given us the foundation, the place to start. But we believe that there is more that we can achieve if we build on that particular foundation. Therefore, it is not a separate arrangement. It is building on what already has been achieved on the 10-point agenda alongside other things.
So, Kimani.
I think there's nothing more important to add, Tenges. On the 10-point agenda, as my colleague has said, this afternoon, indeed, that committee will be briefing His Excellency the President. I had an engagement myself with them last December. I think they also met with the leader of the Senate. They met with the leader of the minority in the Senate and the leader of minority in the National Assembly. And therefore, we're on course on the implementation of the 10-point agenda. And they will be briefing the President this afternoon on where they are. in terms of that. But our engagements with our colleagues and brothers in ODM go beyond the 10-point agenda. As I mentioned, it is our intent to be an all-inclusive party and coalition that brings everybody on board and all Kenyans on board. And therefore, we look forward to working with ODM even into the next elections next year. Therefore, the engagements that we will have with them and the negotiations we have mandated the president to engage them on go beyond the 10-point agenda into an arrangement on how we get into the 2027 elections, forming the government that I said we are very confident, since we have a clear vision, clear agenda on what we want to implement for the people of Kenya. That is why we are confident even as we come together to brief our members and the country on where we are in implementation of the agenda or of the plan.
Says we can.
As this negotiation goes on, I think it's important to say that the pacts that we have with our partners within the larger Kenya Kwanza coalition remain intact and very valid. We cannot go to look for new partners and lose the old ones. And I think the president has been very clear on the need to unite the nation. And so in that effort, we are reaching out to everybody. So let it be known that the Kenya Kwanza partners remain the partners of UDA and very important partners, and that nothing will change. And as we move on towards the general election, I'm sure we are going to see a lot happening towards that unification process, and we are very committed. And it's important also, I say, that the UDA party has worked very hard to facilitate the committee that oversights the implementation of the 10-point agenda. And so we are not just involved at the executive level, but also as a party, we are monitoring on a day-to-day to ensure that we stay true to the 10-point agenda, because our unity, our coalition, our partnership must be based on real issues that affect Kenyans and not just, you know, people coming together for the sake of it. So thank you very much. May I say that the National Elections Board, it's important to say that the National Governing Council on Monday will also include members elected on the ANC party that merged with UDA. They'll be part of our meeting on Monday. And then let me also, and the friends of the party. We have observers. We also have some members at the National Assembly, the county assemblies, who are part of the Kenya Kwanza. They'll also come as observers to that meeting on Monday. And then let me add by saying that the National Elections Board will give a detailed program of activities towards the grassroots elections by close of the day tomorrow on what will happen on the 7th and the activities that must happen before the 7th and what will happen on 28th and the activities that must happen before the 28th. We want UDA party to be the one party that has a wide reach across the entire nation. Thank you very much for coming.
Asante sana. Asante.
Asante sana.